All right, everybody, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to be hosting this episode. My name is Alan Sokol. I'm the founder of Chicago Startup Weekend, and I'm here with friends Carly and Terry. Introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, I'm Carly, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of ZentryPass.
I'm Terry. I'm also the co-founder and CTO of ZentryPass.
And this is a Couch to Company podcast. So when I founded Chicago Startup Weekend back in 2025, Carly and Terry were one of the first attendees of our event. And how exciting is it that we're sitting here doing this interview now? We are so grateful for your guys' sponsorship this year. It is so cool.
It is so awesome to be sponsoring the event, to once be an attendee and now being able to sponsor it. I mean, what a full circle moment.
Yeah, for real. And so we'll get into it a bit and have Carly and Terry introduce the company. But, Chicago Startup Weekend last year happened at TechNexus. And that is a big co-working space, team working by TechNexus here in Chicago. And, within that vein, you guys started a co-working tech company, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about ZentryPass before we get into the thick of things.
Yeah, so ZentryPass is a software platform for all things co-working. We have the ability to partner with companies, anywhere from solopreneurs up to companies with 50 employees, where companies can give their employees access to any co-working space on our network under a single flat rate membership. We also have a public marketplace where people can shop around for day passes or conference rooms. Now we're expanding into co-working spaces and helping them manage their own members.
Nice. Love it. So you guys started this thing last year, middle of July at Chicago Startup Weekend. And now basically it's been how many months of friendship? 9 months of friendship.
Right.
Carly and Terry happen to be living not too far from where I lived in a St. Louis area. And so it just feels like we're right at home with this startup. Just seeing the traction. Like, tell us about where you guys have gone with ZentryPass.
Oh my gosh. So it's been about 8 months now, and we have just grown so much from the technical perspective of building out our actual product and infrastructure to getting co-working spaces on our platform. We just surpassed 100 spaces. Terry and I, we actually went out for a nice steak dinner to
Commemorate.
commemorate the moment.
Sick.
It's a huge moment.
That's awesome. Yeah. So tell us about the founding story. Like, tell us a little bit about the background of how you guys first met and how you came to this idea and what drove you to actually come to the event and compete.
Totally. So Terry and I, we met 5 years now, 6 years.
Been a while.
Yeah. we met on a previous startup where we were some of the founding early engineers on the team. And that company ended up getting acquired by a Fortune 1 company, which was an incredible experience. I mean, that was a crazy acquisition.
Yeah.
And through that, they had a really strict return to office policy. And that's kind of what sparked the idea of ZentryPass early on. They had wanted us to move to Arkansas. That's what kind of sparked the initial idea of, hey, how could we have employees have the flexibility, the autonomy to work where they feel most productive, but the employers could still have that insight into when and where their employees are working. And since then, we've really gotten obsessed with the co-working world, learning more about it, and we just keep building new things. I mean, the amount of infrastructure that Terry has been able to build is crazy.
Love it. I'm curious, so for you guys, how did you get into startups? I know that your story is pretty fascinating, Carly, but where were you guys at before startups came into your life, and how did you get interested in it in the first place?
Yeah, so me personally, I have always had this kind of entrepreneurial drive to me. I've been starting businesses since I can first remember.
Yeah.
I remember being a little kid, one of my favorite things I got for Christmas, it was this stool of paper, this long, it just kept pulling out paper. And I would make it to make all these signs for different businesses that I wanted to run. And I'd hang them out on the garage thinking all my neighbors were going to run up the door.
That's funny. That's so funny.
But my first, official business I started was actually out of high school. I started a clothing brand where we gave back to charities for every time somebody purchased something. And we partner with local things like building a park. We partnered for pet adoption things at one point. So I've always kind of been building and really fascinated with entrepreneurship in general, especially seeing my parents. My mom is such a go-getter. Like she's always starting businesses. But yeah, I've always been fascinated with startups.
Yeah. Yeah, but actually you told me that you were in pharmacy school for a bit, right? Like that's the career that you were pursuing.
I was, and I learned a really big lesson in life with that. So with pharmacy, I was really chasing, stability.
Yeah.
I was chasing money, you know.
Yeah.
And I learned, and I'm glad that I had that experience because I learned at a really early age, money is not a good motivator.
Yeah.
It's if money was a good motivator, 9 out of 10 businesses wouldn't fail, right? If money was a good motivator. And I learned that it's not. And, if you prioritize the things in life that really make you happy, things that you're really passionate about, building, whatever that is, you can find a lot of success in it. Passion is like, gosh, you know how Olympic athletes, most of them, the time they have like a genetic predisposition to be really
Yeah.
good athletes, but they become
Yeah.
Olympic athletes because they train really hard.
Right.
I think that's
Practice.
the same thing with success. Your passion is your superpower. It's that genetic predisposition
Yep.
to do well in something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so inspiring. So like from pharmacy to like pursuing this founder journey, and I know that you've built up your technical skills there. So like how was that transition? Like how'd you get there?
Yeah, so my third year of pharmacy school, that's whenever I really had to make a decision. So that was our last year of undergrad school. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? I am so unhappy. I have no idea what I want to do, but I know I don't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
So I made that decision, and I worked at a coffee shop just for fun for a little bit. And somebody mentioned this coding boot camp to me, and I was like, that sounds really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give that a shot. So I did it. I fell in love with it, and I was like, this is a really cool tool to build things. Like, this is the tool for entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
If you can
Yeah,
write
right.
code and build a product, like that's a golden ticket for entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. So then you get into building and coding, and so what happens from there? Like do you get a coding job or
Yeah, so it was COVID during the time. So
Okay. Yeah.
everybody had hiring freezes. It's like all you saw on LinkedIn
Yeah.
was, my offer letter just got rescinded, and companies are freezing hiring, layoffs. It's like
Yeah,
all I heard,
right.
which was so demotivating because I just committed all of this time to it. So before I graduated, I just started sending out applications after applications. I have the
Yeah.
Excel sheet actually printed out. Over 300 rejections from tech companies.
Wow.
Until I finally came across the first startup that we had gotten involved in really early. That was my first yes, and funnily enough, I actually bombed the interview. But the reason
That's
that
funny.
they had hired me was because on one of my first interviews, he told me about this book, and I was like, all right, well, I need to read that book.
Right.
I want
Yeah.
to be like him. I got to
Yeah.
read this book. Then I'll be a senior engineer. It was clean code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I read it front to back before my next interview because I'm like, this
Smart.
is this
Okay.
is how I know everything. Of course, that's not how it works, but
Yeah.
but he was fascinated by the ambition, and that's what actually got me my first in. And I'm so thankful because I mean, what an awesome experience to be part of an acquisition like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what about Terry's side of the story? How did you get into tech stuff and entrepreneurship?
It's actually kind of funny because, a lot of people that do tech, you start at a young age.
Yeah.
Not me at all. So I was
Okay.
in high school. We did a programming class.
Yeah.
And the guy actually came by and he's like, I think you would be a good programmer. You might like this. And I looked and scored and I was like, nah, not for me. Coming into college, I just took a random computer science class. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Maybe he was right because I did
Yeah.
like it. I just like the problem solving, the whole nature of it.
That's cool.
And then just fast forwarding, coming out of college, actually the guy that interviewed Carly, I worked with him at a different company. He
Okay.
had left that company.
Yeah.
And was like, this is coming to, this startup. He's like, come with me over here. We're going to build something pretty cool over here. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And so, yeah, we went over there and, the rest is history at that point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, very cool. Very cool. So, yeah, that's a little bit of the lore.
lore.
So what happens is Carly reaches out to me on LinkedIn, and you're like, I saw your LinkedIn post about Chicago Startup Weekend. I'm thinking about joining. Like, should I make the trip from St. Louis to Chicago with my my friend Terry, and I'm like, of course, like, right, like this is your spot to start your next big thing. And yeah, so you guys make it to Chicago, and tell me about like your impressions of the event. Like you walk in and kind of what are you expecting out of it? You bought your ticket pretty early. You guys were pretty early to it, like right when we started selling tickets. And so
Yeah.
what were your impressions of the event?
Well, we were like Googling around. We're like, okay, we need some sort of community. You
Yeah.
know, startup life can be pretty isolating if you don't kind of get yourself in the community. And even then, it can be kind of tough. So we're Googling around and we're finding things. We're like, well, Chicago, it's not that far of a drive from St. Louis. Like, let's check it out. So I'm looking at the website. I'm like, this looks really cool. That's whenever I sent you a message over on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And honestly, a big thing that I was looking for personally was one, community, being able to network with other people who are kind of in the same boat of, I really want to build something. How do I get started? And have that sense of community. I was really curious, you know, what kind of companies are going to come out of this? Who will I see and later down the road be like, oh my gosh, I saw them at the beginning of their company too, you know?
Yep. Right.
That was my big thought. And I remember I pinged Terry. I'm like, what do you think about this? What was your initial thought whenever I sent that over to you?
I mean, originally I was just immediately on board, right? Because I could see that, like, yes, this is something we need to do.
Nice.
So we were very much, you know, and still in that ideation stage, but we need to kind of come and, like how Carly mentioned, being within like that incubator type of scenario where you're kind of like flushing it out, right?
Yeah.
I am very much somebody that kind of wings a lot of things. So I'm like, I don't know exactly what I'm getting myself into, but we're going to go and we're going to have a good time. We're going to learn, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Yeah. Well, awesome. We're going to get into the part of the podcast where I'm just going to ask you a lot about Zentry Pass.
Yeah, totally.
So what made you guys want to go down the path of actually starting the back end of a co-working tech company rather than, you know, opening up a space or actually owning both sides of it? Like, what made you want to go into the not so physical realm and just purely digital tools?
I think more so like we're technical people.
Yeah.
Like we're always looking for ways to like technically solve problems.
Yeah. So like we worked on B2B before. So like we were very, that's that's our nature, right? So kind of going out there and trying to buy spaces or something, not really, you know, who we are. We're more technical and want to get those companies with other companies, right? So
we're tech nerds.
Yeah, makes sense. So like, what are your guys' opinions on WeWork, and like, did any of that story influence parts of Zentry Pass?
WeWork specifically, no, but our model is actually very similar. However, we're not a single brand membership.
Yeah.
And our big niche is we really like to focus on partnering with really independent, eclectic spaces.
Yeah.
Most of our clientele is startups, people that really care about the walls that they're working in. And if we partner with really cool spaces that help boost that innovation, help boost that creativity, the better, the happier our customers are going to be. So our niche is we really, really only partner with independent, cool, eclectic spaces, places that have a cool vibe, because not all co-working spaces are the same.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty neat, like the variety that you guys have out there right now. You said how many locations now?
We just surpassed 120 locations.
Yeah, that's pretty insane in 8-9 months since the event.
Yeah.
You know, is your big pitching point when you talk to these locations? What kind of value are you bringing to them, and how is it unique to anything that's out there already?
That's a good question. So just to kind of start with the beginning part of your question there, I'm a big believer that no matter what industry you're in, it's a people business. It doesn't matter what kind of business it is.
Yeah.
Every business is a people business. And if you don't run it that way, it's not going to be a good business.
Right.
So we have a very human first approach. There's not a single space on our platform that I haven't spoken to personally. If either of us haven't spoken to personally, we always like to talk to them first, learn about how they build community in their spaces. Very much a human aspect. They know that they can reach out to us anytime. In fact, most of our features are actually driven from talking with them and hearing about their experience with our platform and things they wish that we had or any platform would have. Yeah,
for sure. I love that customer-centric approach. So like, this is a chicken and egg problem. How did you go about, you just built a prototype, like your first MVP, and then you're going and you're signing up a space. Like, who was that first space? Who took the bet that like Zentry Pass should be like I should be using it?
Yeah, the very first space, we actually got 3 spaces at the same time
Yeah.
whenever
Whoa.
we first got it. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
All in St. Louis. That's where
Right.
we piloted
Yeah.
just because that's where we're from. And then we started to build out. I think we've got 11 spaces in St. Louis now. But we had 3 independent spaces. 2 were in St. Charles, 1 was in St. Louis. And they took a chance on us and believed in us. So now our goal is to really deliver on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? Like, what did that conversation look like?
I wish they reached out to us. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome marketing.
Yeah, I mean,
Now we're in the
insane.
stage where we
That'd be
do-
insane. But
Yeah.
Now we're in a stage where we do get people that like they reach out to us.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
You know.
After this many locations, there's word of mouth that happens. But
Yeah. But in the beginning, I mean, it is a lot of
You got yeah.
sending emails out,
I'm
filling
sure.
out their onboarding for them so that way their experience is super easy with us.
yeah,
And it can be very discouraging.
Oh, yeah.
Because, we're brand new. They're like, who are you? Like,
Yeah.
what? You know?
Zentry,
Yeah.
question mark.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
gotten plenty of no's. Some people will say, "Oh, it's just not worth the payout for us. You guys are so new." So we always try to, alleviate as much onboarding for them. We try to market for them as much as possible. Our big thing we always say, as a startup, our goal is as we continue to grow, the spaces that partner with us, that believe in us, that help us grow,
Yeah.
we hope they grow 10 times us as
Right.
we're growing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's awesome. So, how do you think about the network effects? You guys are 9 months into this. Like, you guys are going to be bringing on, you think about bringing on spaces. Now you got a good amount. And then you think about public awareness of what Zentry Pass is, the consumer lens of, hey, maybe I'm a founder, I'm a maker, a builder. How do I learn about this thing? And I'm curious what that looks like, down the line after you got all these spaces. And well, what about a year or 2 years from now? Are you guys focusing on the consumer lens? Are you focusing on a business lens? Like, what are you guys thinking about?
Both, actually. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely both. And lots of different strategies.
Yeah.
We're a startup, so of course we're trying everything,
Right.
influencer marketing, ads, SEO,
Yeah.
like you name it. We've really had a big focus on search engine optimization. Of course, we're
Yep.
tech nerds,
Yeah.
so anything that we have control over architecting, we try to do to try and market and build the business and the brand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And then from the technical lens, I'm curious, like, did you guys have any hiccups with the platform? Like, I understand it was a working product and you guys had people using it. Was there ever a situation where you had a co-working space manager call you and be like, what's going on over here?
Oh,
Like,
there's always bugs.
Yeah.
Any software solution there's going to be bugs, right? It's how do you respond? For
Yeah.
starters, you want to build something that isn't completely, like just tons of bugs everywhere. So
right.
I think we do a pretty damn good job making sure that everything works pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there's always a bug. And the great thing about how your colleagues mentioned earlier, we're a people business. So when there's a bug, they call us.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, what's going on here? And we
Right.
look into it like right away.
Yeah.
And it's usually resolved within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are fast.
We've never had something come up that's taken longer than half an hour to resolve.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a pretty robust platform right off the top.
It
so
is.
It really, like, you're not seeing any kind of crazy features break or anything. And
Luckily, knock
know,
on wood.
Yeah.
yeah, right. So
Thanks for that.
that's pretty impressive when you build something from zero and
So,
it just works pretty well to the
One
point.
thing too is to not fall in love with the solution. You gotta fall in love with the problem. You fall in
Yeah.
love with the solution, you're gonna spend so much time trying to solve for that. But you're a startup. The solution, like the problem, is gonna change in general, right?
Yep.
So the problem is ever evolving. Make sure you kind of you should be flexible enough to switch, right, and not be
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, we talked a little bit about this like consumer space type of problem and how that grows. And so, like, tell me a little bit about the roadmap, what you guys are building. You've got this core feature set right now. You've got 115 locations. Like, what are the specific next biggest features that we can see in the roadmap? And, what are business owners really asking for, the management at these spaces? Like,
Yeah.
tell us a bit about that.
Our biggest thing that we're doing right now on our roadmap, it's in the beta stage. but we're building out an actual management system for our co-working partners.
Yeah.
So now we're no longer just catering to employers and companies partnering or public marketplace. Now we're tying it all together with the management system. So we're in the beta phase right now, and we have a couple of our members testing it out for us and helping us build out the features, which is really awesome to be building a product with your customer.
Yeah.
That's how you know you can really deliver some good value. In fact, Terry just had an in-person meeting with one of our members to kind of do a walkthrough and see a day in the life of the co-working space to help us build
That's
it
awesome.
out.
You gotta understand the customer, right? These are the people that use it. You know, you're solving for them.
Yeah.
If I try to guess what they're gonna want, like I'm not gonna be able to give them the right solution. So you want to go out there and really talk to them and understand what their problems are. So.
Okay. So how about the competition then? You guys are entering a space, there's so many co-working spaces out there. There's already some pretty big competitors in this niche. Like, what made you guys say that we're going to build it better? Like, we can do it in a way that is unique and really brings even more value to these customers.
Honestly, the biggest thing was our customers. So building a management system was never like the day one plan.
Yeah.
We've evolved the product from talking with customers and hearing about what they want. And we kept hearing kind of the same thing over and over, that there's so much tool fragmentation. There's duplication in data. They're trying to transfer things between different tech tools. And overall, their tools were just fragmented, which takes time away from building their community, which is most important. But also, there's that operational revenue leakage there.
Yeah.
So we try to plug those holes in the revenue leakage, so that way it's one fluid system.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Thanks.
I think that value proposition in itself, like integrating the tools, just having a clean process for management to use, that's, the UI of it all is a huge improvement on what others are doing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, Chicago Startup Weekend 2026 is coming up. I'm curious what you guys would advise founders who have gone through, they're about to go through the journey that you guys went through, say 9 months ago. Yeah. Tell us about this journey that you've gone through, and like what advice you'd give to that next class that's going through the event.
I would say a few things. One of them is really lean into the mentorship.
Yeah.
The mentors were so incredibly helpful. It's ask questions, talk through everything with people, get that validation that you need. But yeah, really lean into the mentorship. It's incredibly helpful. Also, these people have seen the problems. They're specialized in some aspect.
Yeah.
They always say, don't reinvent the wheel. So if you know somebody that's invented the wheel at one point, ask them questions and really, really lean into the mentorship. That'd be a big thing that I would say coming out of Chicago Startup Weekend.
Yeah, I would say don't fall in love with your ideas to the point where you need to accept criticism. Part of the reason you're here is to really kind of almost poke holes in your idea as well. And so sometimes you have your own idea and you're like, well, it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. And you really need to be open to the criticism and the feedback that you're going to receive, because it's really valuable. So.
Yeah. That's awesome advice.
Yeah, I think in the beginning of startups, a big thing is people try to make the problem and the solution.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case with businesses. The businesses are finding problems and then solving it. So you may go into it thinking you're solving something. You may think it's a problem and then learn and pivot. Startups is all about pivoting. I say we do micro pivots every day.
Well, we literally have like a chat. So.
Yeah, we do. We've got a whole
pivot chat.
Yeah.
Wait,
just
that's
like
kind of cool.
It's like it's just like an idea, like it's like
Nice.
Yeah, idea brain dumps.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That's some great advice. I'm a user of the app myself, and I think it's pretty neat. It's just really intuitive for checking into any space. So tell me, you guys, what are you gearing up for? I know there's talks of a pre-seed raise. Like, what's the next big thing?
Yeah. We've definitely been talking about a pre-seed raise. It's not like the forefront of what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Our big thing is building the product. I think a big thing that founders trip up on is they try to build a company for venture capitalists.
Yeah.
And that's not what building a company is about. You build a company to build a company, and then you go for funding whenever you feel like you just can't do it on your own anymore. Bootstrapping is just no longer scalable.
Yeah.
You need that extra push to be able to keep up with the competition. We are approaching that stage where we're scaling so fast, where we are considering going for a pre-seed round.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. So tell us about what the market looks like in this space, and what does the ultimate behemoth Zentry Pass look like?
So we had many goals, and we've surpassed a ton of them so far. So we need to go back to the drawing board. I mean, we had a goal for the year to get 100 spaces, and we got it in the first quarter of the year. So now, I mean, we are really planning to try and go full national, and by the end of the year, start looking towards expanding into the Europe market.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. So, I mean, how many locations do you foresee there being in the U.S.? And I mean, what kind of market size would there be for a tool in a co-working space like yours?
Yeah, so right now, I honestly think this is the very beginning of co-working. Co-working's been around for a little bit, but I mean, since COVID, the way that we work has changed forever. And co-working is just expanding so much. We have around 9,000 spaces here in the U.S. right now. We want to power all of it. We want to power the co-working world. We want to help move the flex industry forward. I think that it's the future. I think it's the most healthy way to work. It's not as rigid as return to office, and it's not as isolated as full remote. It's this new way of working, and we really need that. We're seeing that post-COVID, that we just are starving for this new way to work.
Yeah.
People love remote. I love remote. I don't want to take over remote. I love being comfy. I love working with my dogs.
Right.
But you know, it does get isolating. It gets lonely, and then the statistics show it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think this is just the tip of the iceberg for the co-working industry.
Yeah, definitely. And I think your guys' roadmap is just so clear. I think it's really about getting more of that network effect, more locations, so people have freedom of going into anyone when they have Zentry Pass. And I guess a few of the last questions is, what gets you most excited about working on Zentry Pass? Like, what's your guys' favorite thing about working on this startup?
Ooh, that's a fun question. I know for me, definitely working directly with the co-working partners.
Yeah.
I mean, these spaces are really cool. The ones that we partner with, we take our vetting really, really seriously. And the spaces we partner with, I mean, we have some spaces that have golf simulators on our platform, and like just really cool amenities. And they tend to be very startup focused people, because those are the main people that they cater to.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, the people that we meet is so cool. The people aspect of building this is what really gets me so excited. Every time that we get a new person submitting and completing the application process, I mean, like full capital letters, I'm like typing in Slack, Terry, guess what?
Yeah.
It never gets less exciting. Like,
that's so cool.
Even from our first space till over 100, every single one is just as exciting for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I still get the jitters about Chicago Startup Weekend. You know, last year was the very first event for me, and we had the 25 competitors, and you know, I was freaking out about every single person who picked up a ticket. And this year we doubled that to 50. And you know, I'm still in awe by the people that I get applying to join this year's event.
Yeah.
Our organizing team picked up the phone and we called the accepted applicants for the event. And some of the people answered and they're like, "Who's this?" And I'm like, it's Alan calling from Chicago Startup Weekend. They're like, "Whoa, I put my phone number in the application. I didn't expect you to call."
That's so fun.
But yeah, I sure do. I'm so excited for each and every one of those competitors. And it's so cool that you feel exactly the same. Even after 115 locations, each and every one gives you butterflies.
Every single one.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Carly's take. What about Terry's take on the favorite part about working on this thing? You're more technical.
Yeah.
You know,
so that's kind of what it is building the technical solution for it, right? As we go talk to these customers and they have a problem, it's, you know, my mind's already thinking, how am I gonna build something to solve that problem for them, right?
Yeah.
And as I mentioned earlier, you can't really fall in love with that solution, but you fall in love with the problem. And so we really talk to them and be like, what are your problems? And just coming to the, you know, as we've mentioned, you know, we've talked about before, like we have these like workout and whiteboard sessions where we go do a workout and we whiteboard out their problem and like how we're gonna solve that for them. So
We did a cycling class, by the way.
she almost killed me.
That
Was this like a
tough one.
brainstorming type of activity? You guys are like, we're gonna go work out and we'll grind on the startup.
Yeah, we try to do it once a week where we do workout and whiteboard.
That's hilarious.
We step away from the computer, and we have
Okay.
this moment where nothing about ZentryPass. We're only focused on personal development in the workout class.
That's nice.
Because you
Okay.
can only put your best foot forward in anything, a relationship, a business, if you focus on yourself first. So we try to take a moment, get away from the computer. We'll do a workout class, and then afterwards we'll whiteboard stuff out. But yeah, we did a cycling class recently, and that was a tough one.
That's hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic.
Almost passed out in the whiteboard part.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, right. Like that's so cool of you guys. So just super grateful for the support on the event. And I mean, it's a dream come true to have somebody come through the event, have the kind of traction that you guys have. Last year we had 5 competing ideas, 3 of which continued on. This year we're looking to upkeep that 60%, get even more of these founders to keep working on their ideas. And, you guys are directly supporting that. You're keeping that community energy going, right? So when they finish the event, they're thinking about, what if I try out a co-working space? And I saw Carly and Terry supporting the event. Like, I can have that personal connection with them too and just explore and learn more about what I can accomplish. Do you guys have any last words of advice or questions or thought-provoking things that the audience can think about as they get into this big event here soon?
Yeah, I mean, we're just so incredibly grateful for the experience that we had at Chicago Startup Weekend, and so incredibly grateful that we have the opportunity to be able to sponsor now. I hope as we grow, we continue to grow our sponsorship.
Yeah.
I think that there is a huge part of growing is giving back. I am a firm believer in that. So this is actually our 3rd sponsorship that we've done this year. Even
awesome.
as a small startup, I think that it's so important to find opportunities to give back. It's really part of my personal philosophy is that you have to have this mindset of abundance. I have enough to give. I have enough in general. It's a mindset thing. Not only is it morally the right thing to give back, but it's so great for yourself and your growth because you have this philosophy, this mental thought of, I have enough to give, so I have enough. So I'm just so excited to be sponsoring Chicago Startup Weekend, being able to support other startups. We'll also have a special deal for the startups going through there to give them a fun place to work out of Chicago Startup Weekend.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. This event, Chicago Startup Weekend, is powered by Future Founders. And, that nonprofit is just all about giving back to the next generation of entrepreneurs. They do programs for K through 12, and then they have a fellowship for 18 plus. And I went through their boot camp, and while I was founding this event, I really saw the opportunity to give back. I went to a number of these events in Chicago. There was nothing like it, and we needed to bring it back. And so this mentality of just like, when you have that abundance mentality, it makes the world go round, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you again, you guys. Any other last parting words before we wrap this up? Well,
If you're working on a startup, stay at it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Persistence. Yeah, it's
very hard.
Right.
We have a lot of late nights. We get exhausted. So stick at it. Stay consistent. Stay persistent. And as long as you just keep going, things continue to move forward. So best of luck with your startup.
Yep.
Yeah, love it. Where can the audience find you guys?
I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, Carly Lamb. You're also on LinkedIn?
Likewise. Yeah. You go
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. So.
And if you want to check out ZentryPass, it's zentrypass.com.
Yep.
Yeah, as for me, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Alan, 2 L's and 2 A's. So cool. And I'm pretty active there on LinkedIn. You can email chicagostartupweekend@gmail.com if you have questions about the event. Once again, it's Techstars, Chicago Startup Weekend, powered by Future Founders at M-Hub, April 10th through 12th. Thank you so much, you guys. Wrapping this up here.
Thank
Have
you
a good
so
one.
much.
Yeah. Thank you.
See you guys later.
See you guys later. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.